familiar um, course of events are coming to Randolph to deliver federal funds, and we are so grateful for your partnership to ensure that we know exactly what it is we should be federally advocating for that will best serve the town of Randolph. So again, I thank you all for your participation today as we come together and collectively celebrate this $524,000 investment in federal funds in the town of Randolph. Proud to have worked in partnership with the Turner Free Library to secure these federal funds. I want to express my gratitude to the Turner Free Library and my friend, Town Manager Brian Howard, Elizabeth LaRossi, our superintendent, and everyone gathered here for the work you do every day and for collaborating with our office to craft this proposal. I'm sure you've grown tired of me saying that this is one of my favorite collaborations because community project funding is something that is community driven, government endorsed, and invested, and that is the best kind of partnership and collaboration. These funds we have secured will support the mobile library program and STEM program for more than 2,046 elementary and middle school students across Randolph Public Schools who lack regular access to school librarians or library services. The project aims to bridge this gap by purchasing a Turner Free Library outreach vehicle that will bring specialized library materials, books, and other educational resources directly to the students. The mobile library will also feature a mobile STEM lab and Wi-Fi and will be staffed by librarians who will deliver services to the students. The mobile STEM lab will provide students with hands-on learning opportunities in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, which will help them develop important critical thinking and problem-solving skills. Additionally, the Wi-Fi provided by the mobile library will help students access online resources and complete homework assignments, even if they do not have reliable internet access at home. I really want to underscore this because throughout the pandemic, we spoke about the fact that every inequity, every disparity, every injustice bore by the most marginalized was illuminated and worsened during this pandemic. And so then, of course, on the back end, we cannot default to an unjust status quo. With this illumination and the worsening of these disparities, now what are we going to do about it? The superintendent and town manager and I spoke about young people who were having to go to fast food parking lots during the pandemic in order to have access to Wi-Fi to do their homework. That is unacceptable. And investments like this prove also solvable when we have investments that are responsive to the needs of the people that of our shared constituencies. Again, this initiative will reach an estimated 2,046 elementary and middle school students in the Randolph Public Schools District. These resources are a direct investment in you, our young people, our families, and our communities. I take immense pride in our collective efforts on this, and I firmly believe that these resources represent a crucial step towards achieving a fair, just, and equitable learning environment. I'm eager to remain in conversation about how our team can continue to advocate on behalf of the Turner Free Library. Again, thank you for joining us today for this discussion, and I look forward to learning more from you. And so now we'll pass it over to Elizabeth.
Yep. So thank you so much, Congresswoman Pressley. You are a literacy champion for Randolph, and we really appreciate you. I'd like to actually pass it over to Director Sharon Parrington-Wright for an opening statement.
Thank you. Thank you, Congresswoman, for being with us today. Thank you, everyone. We have so many supporters of this project in the room with us today, and we are so grateful that you're here to celebrate with us. We're here and we're excited to be celebrating the kickoff for the TFL Mobile Services Project. That's become a reality with $524,000, which is a wonderful number to say, in community project funding that Congresswoman Pressley has secured for us. acquiring an outreach vehicle and significantly expanding the library's existing outreach efforts have been long-standing dreams of the library staff here well before myself. And we're grateful to have some of them in the room with us today as well. We are so excited for the increased opportunities to promote early literacy and lifelong learning in our community that this project will allow us to take advantage of. In particular, of course, we can't wait to connect over 2,000 Randolph students across the district with access to library resources, and we're excited to continue to support the incredible work that Randolph Public Schools has been doing for our students this entire time. We love our teachers, and we're so happy to be able to partner with them in a more direct way like this. Now, we've never believed here that library services stop at our doors, and the equity of access to library services, both for our students and for our communities as a whole, is really the heart of this project and of everything we do here at the Turner Free Library. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sharon. I was hoping we could get started by just having everyone introduce themselves around the table. Students, would you like to start?
Yeah, my name is Mifaela Selo, and I'm a senior at Randolph High School.
I'm Miriam Berry, and I'm a junior at Randolph High School.
Brian Howard, I am the town manager of the town of Randolph.
Ayanna Pressley, super fan of the town of Randolph, and someone who cannot wait to come here for a story hour.
Sharon Wright, library director, and very excited host of Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley at Story Hour.
Let's go.
Also excited, Liz Levesey, community programs director.
Super fan, since we're at of the Congresswoman in Burlington, superintendent of Randolph Public Schools.
And I did want to take a moment to acknowledge a colleague in government who I've known for many years, since well before I was in Congress. I want to thank Representative Ayers for joining us today. Good to see you.
Should we get started?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you want to get that?
Oh, okay. So welcome everyone. Again, we're so excited to be hosting this momentous event here at the Turner Free Library. Thank you so much for coming out to celebrate this opportunity for our community. We are getting a bookmobile, which is so exciting. This vehicle of literacy, education, and innovation will help us to deliver library services beyond library walls, and we are grateful for this opportunity, and especially grateful for the work of Congresswoman Pressley in championing our cause. So thank you all so very much for coming, and I think we're just going to have a little discussion about the bookmobile around the table. So maybe Superintendent Stovall, thank you so much for your partnership. Do you want to talk a little bit about the schools and why literacy is so important and how we're going to help?
Yes, and I want to know what the outreach is going to look like for this, because I am a firm believer it's not necessarily true if you build it, they will come. That's not true if they don't know about it. So what will the outreach look like? And then I know the superintendent, as am I, is a big fan of data and those metrics, and so I wonder how we will ultimately gauge the impact of this.
So let me just start by saying, as a child who spent many summers in the South, I look forward to the bookmobile rolling through my grandparents' community every Thursday, and it was a super exciting time. So when I heard Randolph was getting a bookmobile, like I started shrieking like a teenager, and that was many, over 40 years ago. So I'm super excited. And I see the bookmobile as another layer of the advocacy work that you've done, Congresswoman, around helping us with the culturally relevant digital literacy. Literacy is a huge priority for Randolph Public Schools. And so we have spent a lot of time, and I want to give kudos to our assistant superintendent, Amy Hartley-Madison, who has really been leading the charge on putting books in the hands of children, not just any books, but books that are culturally relevant, books that create global awareness, books that create themes. As many of you know, we did the Randolph Reads program last year where there were books about immigration, and every kid in our district was able to relate to one of those books in some sort of way, and it was a way to bring people into literacy. Literacy is definitely a foundation of learning. If you can't read and write, you have a really hard time accessing all content. And so for us, literacy is important. It's a great equalizer. It allows our students access into spaces where they can communicate, whether written or orally. And so it's really important. So we haven't figured out the complete logistics, but what I will tell you is this. We are looking at everything that we've done with our literacy right now, and we are amazed by the data that we are seeing. Randolph Public Schools has a literacy action plan. Our goal was to reach 80% in 5 years and of kids being proficient. We are already at about 70-something% year 2 in, so we think we are going to beat our goal. And that is a huge thing. And to have a bookmobile that is coming through our schools, because we do not have libraries at our at our elementary schools nor at our middle school. We would love to have had them, but we don't. And so the bookmobile and working and partnering with the Turner Free Library is huge for us in terms of getting kids access to books. Through another grant that we received from the Congresswoman, we were able to get these vending machines, book vending machines. The kids are earning gold coins and they get to pick the book of their choosing. The book vending machines are running empty. We're filling them. So like the love of reading and the joy of learning is returning into Randolph Public Schools. So we are super excited about that. And we will be tracking. So every quarter we're doing data assessments where we're looking to see where our students are in terms of their literacy. Our teachers have done the science of reading training throughout, which is a research-based program. Our K-8 teachers have done that, so our students are getting it not just in ELA, not just in reading, but our teachers are trained to do this. So kids are learning to access the content, which is going to make it extremely important for them in terms of success into getting into college, filling out job applications, all of those types of things. So we're tracking a lot of data, and we'll be happy to share with you where we are right now, and then working with Liz and with Sharon to organize and create logistics. My hope is that the bookmobile is rolling through every week to our schools, and that our kids are excited for it to come, and they're thinking and running on and finding books and feeling the joy of just having a book in hand, reading and sharing and talking about it. So we're doing a lot of that, and this just helps us keep literacy at the forefront of the work that's happening in our schools. So thank you.
Thank you, very well articulated, and I'm still gunning for you for Superintendent of the Year. But no, honestly, thank you for your partnership. And speaking of partnership, I was remiss, and please, I'll blame my my 49-year-old eyes after a pandemic and lots of screen time. I do want to acknowledge Representative Driscoll, who's also joined us, and we spent some time together on a pickleball court. Yes, and also it's summer eats and other things with the superintendent, and so it's wonderful to see you, and thanks for joining us. And Superintendent, I love how you were speaking about the other funds that we've been able to deliver previously through community project funding. I don't want you all to think that this is an easy venture. I mean, the fact that Randolph has been able through our advocacy and partnership to earn these investments is a testament to the integrity of your proposals and your collaboration, because these are very competitive processes. But the reason why I'm so buoyed by these investments is because in those early conversations that we had, I know that our smaller towns often feel overlooked. And that is something that certainly myself and my team have been very intentional about, in making sure that you do feel seen, and that we continue to intentionally partner and to make sure that you're getting those sorely needed investments that are responsive. And I love fostering the love of reading. You'll be learning and not even know that you're learning, because you're developing that literacy and that comprehension, and something that we spoke about previously, and why we did fight for both those investments for the school-based health center and also the digital literacy, is because the holistic health of our students supports them in every way, but also in their readiness to learn. And we want to combat things like learning loss, particularly as we start to head into the summer, and still recovering from some of the nimbleness we had to have during the pandemic. So just very exciting. And speaking of our investment in our students, would love to hear from our two student representatives here today. about what this means to you and how you feel about reading and why you're excited about this. And the ways in which maybe it's been challenging to access Wi-Fi or books, since there isn't there hasn't been a library.
There's a librarian at the high school. That's
Okay.
the
Oh,
only
it's
place
the
where we
only
do
place.
have
Okay.
that.
All right.
And these lovely students know the librarian over there.
Okay. Great.
So I'm Miriam. I'm a junior at RHS, and recently in one of my AP English classes, we did this project where we had a quote and we had to argue for it. So the quote was, I'm just going to take a part of it. It's from Emerson, who's a philosopher, and she says that books are the best of things well used. And from this, my group and I gathered that books have the power to broaden our perspectives and help us see beyond our own limited experiences. So I think like with the bookmobile, specifically Bridging Gaps is what stood out to me, because as we can see, there's 4 elementary schools lacking the access to books, and that could be due to because we are a smaller town and we have less funding for libraries. So I think when you're giving a child a book and like they're reading it, it opens up experiences that they wouldn't know and they can relate to a story. So for example, a book that I've read in school was A Thousand Splendid Suns, and it was about a Muslim girl growing up in Afghanistan, and basically it was going through her experiences, and I felt like I could resonate with that as a Muslim girl too. So yeah, I think books really are important, like in making someone feel included in their community and heard.
Yes, that representation is so powerful. Why do I feel like there might be a book written about you one day? So poised, very impressive. Thank you so much for sharing. We'd love to hear from you as well.
My name is Mifaela Sentlo. I'm a senior in Randolph High School, and I think it's important for the mobile book because it giving more opportunities for the children to have those resources, because sometimes not everything that you'll be able to learn in your phone. I mean, they are, you can, but it'll be more efficient to have them in a book. And I'm currently reading The Stamp, and there's a lot of things that, as a Black person, that I did not know about my history that I'm learning on my social justice class. Shout out to Mr. Corrales. So I think it's very important that the book mobile will be available to come to the people instead of the people coming to them, which is very great. It will like give more. How do I say? I'm kind of nervous.
No, you're doing great.
Yeah, I think it will be giving a lot of opportunities to children to be more excited reading a book instead of coming to the library. They can like get the book coming to them, and I think that's a very great opportunity for the Randolph community and for the middle school, the high school too, because there's some book we don't have in the library. We possibly have it in the bookmobile, and I think that's very great.
Excellent. Thank you. Would you like to offer anything else before we hear from the town manager?
Yes, just to echo what we've heard from our students, our goal always with library services is that when you come into a library, you see yourselves on the shelves reflected, and that you do have access to everything the library has to offer. Because as you said, access means opportunities, opportunities for learning, and down the line, that means economic advantages as well. We are so excited to bring the bookmobile as often as we can, as often as you will allow us to come.
Can work it out.
I know, we cannot wait for this project to come, and it's really to bring library services to the students, exactly as you said.
Town manager?
Thank you. And I can't say enough about listening to the young people. In my job, when you have an opportunity to hear directly from the young people of this community, and you hear their message, it just really resonates with me, and it really is how we try and direct our opportunities in Randolph. So thank you both for your comments. Couple of quick statistics. More than 36 million adults in the United States cannot read or write beyond a 3rd grade level. Children whose parents have low literacy levels have a 72% chance of being at the lowest reading levels themselves. and 43% of adults with the lowest literacy levels live in poverty. And that really strikes home to me because, and I know many of you here in Randolph know kind of my life story, but my dad died when I was 5. My mother was a widower, 5 kids, and we were poor. We were very poor. She worked a lot of part-time jobs to kind of hold it together. And I remember as an elementary student, at least once a month they'd give these, I don't know if they still do, the flyers with all the books and you know, Dynamite Magazine, Highlights Magazine. In particular, I loved Encyclopedia Brown.
I loved highlights.
But so many of the books that I wanted to get, we couldn't afford. And that sits with you back then, and it sits with me now at this age. And the fact that we're going to make more opportunities of literacy to the young people in Randolph, in the Randolph Public Schools, but this vehicle is going to be out in the community on a regular basis. We have a lot of community events. So to be able to have this, to attend those events is just so huge. Again, to the Congresswoman, last year we were here about relationships on public health with the schools, the town, and our health department. We're going to have a school-based health center in Randolph shortly. How much better can that get as far as trying to reach out to your community on the issues of health? Now we're trying to work on the issues of literacy, again, just so critical. As was mentioned earlier, Senator Timilty, Rep. Ayers, Rep. Driscoll, on a yearly basis, you help bring state funds in, which we appreciate, to the staff at the Turner Free Library for their continuing work. To the trustees, I see many of them here today. Your vision and your support of the work of this team is just so significant. Tia, I mean, you know, we always collaborate. We understand that it takes a village, the town, the federal government, and the state government, and our schools working together to champion literacy. Liz and Sharon, I can't say enough about the work that you two do on a daily basis. I'm going to kid a little bit with Liz on this. The library last year did over 2,300 programs, 25,000 people, and over 142,000 materials. But I'll always remember, and I didn't know Liz quite as well as I do now, but I remember a few years ago when hosting the parade, here comes somebody chugging up Main Street on a bookmobile bike. They had taken a bike and they adapted it as a small bookmobile. Yes. And to think that we're going from that to this a few years later, simply amazing. And while Liz certainly promotes the green and active living components of everything, so a vehicle is not maybe the same way. However, the amount of folks that we're going to be able to reach with this effort is just so, it just really hits you in the heart because, as the superintendent said, literacy at a young age is the building block to get to you where you need to go. So thank you to everybody who's here, and obviously Congresswoman Pressley. The work you do on behalf of the town of Randolph is inspiring.
It's generous. Thank you.
It
It's
is.
wonderful to partner with you. I wonder if anyone would like to speak to the STEM merits of this and how important that is as well.
So we're so excited to be able to offer the mobile STEM lab. We're hoping to get lots of awesome technology, but a lot of things that we want to introduce to the students to see if it sparks interest, robotics, 3D printing, the 3D doodle pens. We're trying to think of some other really cool things that we have on our list. But we'd love to spark that engineering interest in our students and help them get a grasp of just some beginner aspects of it so we can help them down the line.
Especially our girls.
Yes. I see some engineers over there.
Yeah.
And just to add to that, it actually is, again, another foundational support to the curriculum that we have. We actually have a new science curriculum, Open Science. Randolph Public Schools has worked really hard through the help of other federal funds, through the ESSER monies, to create high quality instructional materials and to purchase. And so we have an engineering program. We actually are creating pathways, K-12 computer science, We're using some of the ESSER funds to build a brand new biomedical lab at the high school, and hoping to create a pathway K-12 for that. So students who are interested in going into the medical field, looking to be biologists. So there's a lot of stuff happening. Robotics at the elementary level. So this STEM lab actually, again, is another layer for our students to help prepare them as they come into our curriculum. So it's awesome.
And I'll just add that digital literacy is so important, and we're so excited to be reaching out to the students, but we're also very excited to have this vehicle to reach out to the rest of our community as well. So we have a lot of senior citizens in the community that do have that digital divide where they don't know how to use computers, they don't know how to answer emails or apply for jobs, and we're so excited to be able to take this vehicle to the senior center, to elderly housing and other locations to provide those services to our seniors as well.
Super important. Yeah, and again, something that I find Randolph is especially intentional about is that sort of intergenerational cross-pollinating
Absolutely.
in all ways. So we appreciate that. Is there anything else that our scholars would like to?
I'd like to thank Ms. Lane at the library. It's just a great environment there. So many memories, bringing the community together. So just another reason why libraries are really important, and reading books has had so much of an impact on me.
Wonderful. And do you both mind just saying the names of the two books that you're reading again? Because I think they were presented at the last event we did, maybe.
There were a couple.
The stamps? Okay. And what's the other?
1,000 Splendid Suns.
Okay. All right. All right, great. All right. Well, I think we've said it all. So it's truly a great day, and it's wonderful to be able to celebrate these investments. And I know that this will yield the greatest return on investment because we're investing in our greatest infrastructure, which is our people, and certainly, although you'll hate me saying this, our babies. Okay. I have a 14-year-old, so I know you can't stand it. I said that, but investing in our scholars and in our future. So, all right, thank you all so much for joining us, and now we'll transition to the press avail. Again, thank you all for joining us today, and it is another great day in Randolph, another celebration of federal investments. Good afternoon. To recap, we're here to celebrate and uplift the $524,000 in community project funding for the Charter Free Libraries outreach vehicle to connect students across the district. I want to thank Town Manager Brian Howard, Elizabeth LaRosa, Superintendent Stovall, and all the participants for joining us today. Rep. Driscoll, Ayers, Timilty, and of course, thank you to our delegation partners, Senator Warren and Markey, for your partnership. This federal funding will support the mobile library and STEM programming for an estimated 2,046 elementary and middle school students across the Randolph Public Schools who lack regular access to school librarians or library services, a gap that has far-reaching impacts. This project will support the purchase of a charter-free library outreach vehicle to connect students across the district with specialized library materials to promote early childhood literacy, a mobile STEM lab, and Wi-Fi, and will be staffed with professional librarians to deliver services. These resources are direct investments in our young people, our families, and our communities. By bringing a library vehicle to meet our students exactly where they are, they will have a wide access to a range of reading materials, exposing them to new ideas, aspirations, knowledge, and perspectives, and helping them to foster a love for reading and learning. So thank you everyone for contributing to today's success, for your counsel and partnership throughout this process, and I eagerly anticipate our ongoing collaboration as we strive to create additional educational opportunities for our students. And now, once again, I'll bring to the podium Town Manager Brian Howard.
Thank you. It is an honor to be here to accept this award. As was mentioned, this is a literacy effort that really ties to supporting of the Randolph Public Schools. But this mobile event will go townwide. 35,000 people in Randolph are going to benefit from this. As we saw through the pandemic, the lack of access to the internet and Wi-Fi was devastating here in Randolph. This will help us close that gap. We heard earlier from the school superintendent about some of the challenges in making sure that we meet our young people where they are, especially in the elementary grades. And this literacy effort is going to be part of that building block that brings this community forward and together to support literacy. So this is an extremely exciting day here in the town of Randolph. And again, thank you to the Congresswoman for everything.
Thank you, Town Manager Howard. Elizabeth?
So we are so excited for this immense opportunity to affect change in Randolph in the area of literacy. Literacy promotes the well-being of any community. A firm foundation of literacy allows residents to thrive in school, work, and everyday life. To provide accessible information to all residents improves their lives and promotes community growth. With this funding, we are being given an opportunity to affect real change in our community when it comes to literacy. Not just conventional literacy, but also digital literacy. We live in a society that relies on technology. It is very easy for anyone to be left behind. And the anxiety that comes with learning technology hinders many users, especially our seniors. Public libraries have risen to the occasion many times, being the only free resource to assist residents with online forms, email, printing, basic desktop skills. The list could go on forever. As we visit locations around town, we promote our Wi-Fi hotspot program, our one-on-one technology appointments, and computer classes. We hope to offer these services wherever we can park a bookmobile. Outreach gives our librarians an opportunity to work with residents who cannot join us at the brick-and-mortar Turner Free Library. This includes school students, elderly residents, veterans, and persons experiencing homelessness. We find many times that these are the folks without a voice and the people that need our services the most. We started this journey in 2015 with a traveling book bike, which you all heard about. Within the course of 2 years, that bike traveled 83 miles within Randolph's 10.5-mile radius. We checked out over 1,000 books and signed up 160 library cards. We attended numerous community events with resources in tow, literally. While this was a great start, us librarians are overachievers, and we decided we needed something just a tiny bit bigger with more horsepower, so to speak, if we're going to bring Randolph the services it truly deserves. The mobile outreach vehicle will be used foremost for local school literacy outreach. We will be working closely with Superintendent Stovall and the schools to ensure we are partners in literacy for our youth. There will also be many opportunities to engage with the community at local parks, elderly housing, veterans housing, our local ESOL program, our community center, and more. We will be able to house important civic information from Town Hall on the vehicle, serving as another point of access for our community. We can even use this vehicle in emergency situations such as power outages, as a Wi-Fi and information hub in different areas of the community. The library has always been our community's great connector. Our motto at the Turner Free Library is Innovate, Discover, Connect. We hope to do just that. Myself and our incredibly innovative library director, Sharon Parrington-Wright, want to thank Town Manager Brian Howard for being a library champion and allowing us the opportunity to work with the Congresswoman's office on this project. And we especially would like to thank Congresswoman Pressley for her tremendous efforts to ensure that all Randolph residents have equitable and accessible opportunities for literacy. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You got this.
I'd just like to say that.
Yes.
Okay. I'd just like to say I really think this bookmobile is going to be a great addition to the community, and I hope everything goes smoothly. Thank you for giving us this opportunity.
Of course. You're welcome. You deserve it.
I just would like to say thank you for the opportunity of giving our youngest children, or the young children, or the future of the community of Randolph. And thank you for the opportunity to give them more opportunities for education and promoting literacy to their communities. Thank you.
Wonderful. Okay. All right. Well, now I think transition to what you're all here for. And that is the presentation of the check. All right, so I'm going to move up here.
Let's get the young people up front here.
Everybody just wait.
I want to make sure the young people got us.
Three, two, one.
I also want to say this is the first CPF event that we've done with merchandise. So we
You need to take.
love the swag.
We also have themed cookies in the back.
Oh my goodness, Randolph is showing off. Truly overachiever.
We can do just one more quick one with the
library
our legislators and our trustees to join us up here too.
Fantastic.
If the library trustees could join us up here. Okay.
So we're gonna do let's just break it up if we want all the okay? So let's just do our legislators, our library trustees.
All right, library trustees.
How are you doing?
How are you?
Great, great. Congratulations.
All right, three, two, one.
Yeah. I'll tell you this. I love the town. It's $150 million. I started one more. Because I just mentioned, I agree. So I went there and took on like a little last class.
Thank you.
Tell me all that. Another story. Thank you.
Yeah, feels good. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm thinking of
Yes. All right, and how do we answer any questions?
We heard in the presentation, I was taken up a little bit back when I heard that some of the schools didn't have libraries, middle schools, elementary schools. Is that something that sticks to you? And obviously with the bookmobile, that'll help. That was something that I just was like, wow, that's, I assumed most schools had libraries, but obviously this will make a connection that they don't have.
Absolutely, and as we've enumerated throughout today, this is really critical in just if education is really meant to be life's great equalizer, then we have to make sure that our schools are fully resourced with all those things that support setting our children on a pathway to more equitable outcomes. And right now, that access is unequal. So of course it is upsetting, and it also reminds me that I have more work to do, more work and more advocacy to do, but this bookmobile is a step in the right direction. As I was saying to the library trustees and congratulating them and thanking them for their service and their leadership all these many years, this is the stuff of legacy. This is going to have an impact, I believe, for generations, because at the end of the day, the work that our educators do, the work that our librarians do, the resources that the superintendent and our trustees and elected officials fight for, this is the work of nation building. We are pouring into our babies so that they can go on and build up the town of Randolph, the Commonwealth, and our country. And so this will have an impact for generations to come.
And how inspiring is it when we hear the students, obviously, that's kind of like the bright spot.
Are you kidding me? They are so poised, so eloquent, and also what I really appreciate is that they're not only good students, but good citizens of the world, because they care about their younger peers. This is not just about what they might be able to access and how this will better inform their aspiration, or how powerful it is to have books where they see their own lived experiences reflected and represented. But they care about their younger peers coming up behind them, because the high school does have a library, but the younger students do not. So they're extraordinary, very, very special, and humble too.